In this lesson, I'm working with students on writing interval notation to state domain and range. In the previous lesson, we used set builder notation, so I built off of that prior knowledge for them in the warm-up. And so they started off writing it in set builder notation, and then I introduced the warm-up comparing it to interval notation. So in the first one, we have domain is x such that negative infinity is less than x is less than infinity, or it's all real numbers for both domain and range. And so the way you write that in interval notation, I talked to them about, well, in interval notation it's just a shortcut for set builder notation. And it still is, the meaning comes from the inequalities, and that's why we started with it, where a bracket is going to mean a closed circle, or that it includes the number, and a parenthesis is going to mean an open circle, that it does not include the number. So on both of these, on domain and range, domain's going to be negative infinity, comma, infinity. You always write the smaller number first, comma, and then what it goes to, and with also parentheses, because infinity, it isn't a number, it's an idea. It goes from negative infinity to infinity. Same thing for range. It's not a closed circle. Does not include it, just like it doesn't include the equal sign in the inequality symbols. So negative infinity to infinity also. On the next one, domain is also all real numbers. So again, domain would be written the same way. Parentheses, because it doesn't include, negative infinity is not a closed circle. And then to positive infinity. And then range is going to be y is greater than or equal to 0. So what's the lowest point that the range is? The lowest point is 0. And that's going to be closed at 0 because it's a closed circle at 0, a closed point. And then it's going to go forever upward. So that's going to be infinity. And again, infinity doesn't have a bracket because it doesn't represent a closed circle. It's an idea that it goes on forever upward. And then on 3, domain was x is greater than or equal to 0. So again, what's the farthest left? This time on domain, you're looking along the x-axis. What's the farthest left? What's the farthest right that you're going to have numbers? And so domain would be the farthest left is at 0. Is it a closed circle? Yes. It's going to be a bracket to represent a closed circle, just like the equal sign. And then in the inequalities, and that's going to be 0, comma, and it goes to infinity. Even though arrow's pointing downward, it's still going out toward the right forever. And so to infinity, again, infinity is an open circle or a parenthesis in this case for the shortcut for interval notation. Range. Range is going to be from negative infinity to 0. So because you go the lowest number to the highest number, how low does it go, how high does it go? So negative infinity is where it comes from, and it stops at 0, and it's going to be a closed circle or a bracket.